This new Disney animated film is set up for a complete failure right from the very start. Not only is it counter-programming to a flagging Wakanda Forever film, which after less than 3 weekends in the box office is trending down disastrously, it is containing some themes that I would say many parents might find questionable, at least in a children's film anyway. Worse yet, because of the elements, all of these elements combined, it can't really play to the broadest possible international audience, which is going to hurt it. And the earliest box office preview numbers show that this film might have difficulty even breaking even. So what's going on with Disney in the box office right now, and in particular in this holiday season? Well, hang on. Here we go. Happy Thanksgiving once again, everybody, at least here in the USA. And for those of you around the world, just know that I am thankful for each and every one of you. Wakanda Forever, of course, continues to have problems clawing its way to some form of profitability in the theaters. But we're going to be looking to another video to address that, because there's some numbers we need to kind of dive into and digest, and this is just not the place for it. We're going to focus strictly on what's key here, and what's key at the moment is that this is a lengthy holiday break for the largest part of the North American audience, and this holiday usually pumps films up and brings some films that have been sinking back up with some buoyancy in their box office earnings. And speculation by the trades recently has been that this multi-quadrant animated film, Strange World, would be certainly a boom in the box office for an eager family audience. This is actually surprising to me, and I think maybe they're kind of waking up to this thought themselves. You see, this film isn't going to be a robust Thanksgiving success. That would be far too optimistic. Disney's last animated film that even touched on any social justice themes or any of these agenda-driven items flopped spectacularly. I'm referring, of course, to Lightyear, which represented some of the worst box office numbers in years, not just this year. And it cratered very, very quickly after a modest start in the US market. With a budget a shade over $200 million, that particular film, well, it's still underwater in terms of profitability. The gross global earnings for that film, Buzz Lightyear, still sit at a very lowly $218 million. Even adding in DVD and Blu-ray sales, estimates bring those numbers to about $2 million. This film is likely still $180 million underwater. And that is just a huge loss for the studios overall, and a giant fail for Pixar specifically. To be fair, the film had several negatives going in, at least referring to Lightyear once again. It had a convoluted story. It had a voice actor that replaced a family favorite. It had a slightly longer run time than most classic animated features. I think it was 105 minutes, just a little under 2 hours. And that's just a few, right? And again, that storyline, that even though it wasn't really heavily leaned into, well, there was some story elements that parents just seemed uncomfortable with. So it didn't take anybody. With Strange World, this film specifically, the same kind of things playing out, the same themes. They are playing this time a very significant role in the film. Disney didn't even try to submit this film to censors in a huge number of countries. Of course, you have all of the Middle East. You have China, Malaysia, Indonesia, Pakistan, Turkey, Vietnam, East Africa, West Africa, Maldives, Nepal, and Bangladesh. So in total, 19 countries there, just there. You also had a film that's not being released in Russia at all because, support current thing. With those kinds of scale backs internationally and just abandoning those markets completely, well, that limits the distribution of the film severely. Disney is expecting an international opening of about $25 million US. That's pretty disappointing. It also reflects some unfavorable financial conditions in the international market as well. It's not unexpected, obviously. Disney knew what it was doing here, but the long-term international prospects for this film are not high either. In fact, this will actually drag the worldwide box office earnings downward for this film specifically. In the domestic market, early previews put Strange World earnings at $800,000. That's downright dismal. It's so bad. It's so bad. These numbers, these preview numbers are so bad that PMC media shill Anthony here in this article had to post some good news, bad news box office outlook here, at least in the title and in the early paragraphs, mixing in what some people might think is good news for Wakanda Forever. And again, we'll get to that in another video, and some bad news for this animated Strange World film, at least for its start. Noting that, and these are Anthony's words, not mine, noting that there really wasn't any excitement last night to see previews of Disney Animation's Strange World, which we told you doesn't look so good for the holiday stretch. End quote. No kidding. Notably, $800,000 in previews is just slightly more than half of what Encanto did last year on this same Tuesday previews. It did 1.5 million. So it's not off to a good start. And Deadline specifically, this PMC media company, is hoping for a $50 million domestic opening for the film, but it acknowledges that it could be a lot lower. Based on the times that Disney has gone agenda over quality, this film is likely to be quite the stinker, possibly on par earnings-wise with The Good Dinosaur, which didn't have any of that and still just completely underperformed because it didn't connect with an audience. And what's insane is that Strange World is opening into more than 4,100 theaters. That's just this weekend. Imagine how exhibitors are actually feeling right now, how they're cringing at what this total number robs them of opportunities to earn more with different films. I think the per theater opening will actually, at least as far as the earnings go, will actually be much lower than expected as well. It is possible that this film could perform better than expected, better than I expect, obviously better than Deadline does, et cetera, et cetera. But word of mouth is going to be key, just like with any other successful project. And right now, the early reviews over on Rotten Tomatoes, well, they're rocking a 62% favorable view at the moment. That's not exactly a ringing endorsement from any kind of an audience, but it's a small sample size. There really isn't enough feedback here yet to say that it would be reflective of an audience, or a larger audience anyway. And at the end of the day, it really comes down to whether an audience is going to show up or not. I don't think they will. A lot of these media sites are starting to agree with me. That's never a good sign. I think this is going to be a dismal opening. If this film actually, and I've said this before privately to people, if this film does 65% of its box office in its opening weekend, which would ring it up globally at about $75 million, even then this thing is going to be a bomb and another giant blotch of red ink. But hey, what do you think? Will this film break even? I don't think so. Not even close, to be honest. Will it be profitable? Heck no. No. Will word of mouth help it or hinder it? That's actually a good question. And will the themes of this film drive its earnings? Good question. And most importantly, are you going to go see it? Are you interested in seeing Strange World? Anyway, feel free to leave your comments down below and answer to any of those questions. I'm not sure. I don't know what the audience is. I don't know what the audience is going to find here that's there for them. Again, it leans into some of the stuff Lightyear did. I think there's a convoluted storyline. I think there's a lot of agenda stuff in it, which more so than Lightyear. And I think people are going to be turned off. But again, down here in the comments below, hopefully we can have a conversation there. With that, support independent creators here on the platform. They absolutely deserve your support, and they need it. They absolutely need it. They are in a position where you have to be subscribed. You got to hit that bell for notifications. You have to hit like. You have to comment if you can to drive engagement, and of course, share the content that you enjoy, because it's going to put more people, in line with the content that independents are putting together, and that's a good thing. With that, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. And here in the United States, as I said, happy Thanksgiving. And until next time, bye. 5 stories a day, good gravy. And don't forget to check out my Rumble at rumble.com/CultureCasino.
Thanks for visiting today. Be sure you're subscribed and hit that for alerts.
Yay!
Of course, like and share all of the videos that you can, as it helps with the algorithm. Have a great day.